to do was increase our the number of our traffic officers to actually enforce the laws on the books. And we know that the police are the only ones that can enforce the moving violations. And so, I'm looking forward to hearing from the police department on that issue, because I do believe that it is very significant that we don't have enough officers to do the work we're asking them to do. And I do believe that they will be effective in doing that work. What also concerns me is this idea of unarmed traffic enforcement. And maybe it's my bias in my work in gun violence prevention, but that doesn't seem like a very good idea to me. And I know Berkeley is looking at it, but I also know that there's a lack of existing models locally, nationally, and even internationally on this. And to talk about it is fine, but there's currently no civilian traffic enforcement in the U.S. And one of the reasons I believe that to be true is because when you look at gun violence in this country and you look at the amount of road rage that has increased in just the last 4 years, it's terrifying. And the idea of someone, a civilian, unarmed, and I hate guns, pulling over someone who's speeding or acting in a way that we all find inappropriate doesn't make much sense to me. And I also know that this is a nation awash in guns, and with the recent Supreme Court hearing that basically knocked our ability in California to prevent people from carrying guns in public without any type of license is something that is very concerning to me. And this idea that we are going to have civilians maybe take the place of police officers in this type of in this area of traffic enforcement concerns me greatly. And I don't want to place too much stock in our ability to even go down that road when we have no national models and we know the stats and we know the frightening stats of road rage. I want us to have an open mind when we hear from the police department about what their struggles are in terms of staffing, what is required of a traffic officer, and try not to jump to the conclusion, which I think a lot of people do, is that they're just not doing their jobs. Because I don't believe that to be true. So I know that it seems to that people are coming at this from, we don't need more cops for traffic enforcement. I believe differently. And it's something that concerns me greatly. I have a 17-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter who walk all over the city, who take public transportation, and the idea of us not investing in our police force to combat the bad driving that I see. I had a teacher at Sherman Elementary killed. Why? Because someone ran a red light. Not just because of infrastructure, not because of roads, not because people drive cars, but someone made a very bad decision to run a red light, and she killed someone. And if we don't have people enforcing those laws and letting people know that if you speed in San Francisco, you will get a speeding ticket. If you continue to turn on a right or violate the 5 that we look at, you will be caught in all the neighborhoods. I agree with you on the disproportionate focus, and we need to be, of course, enforcing it, especially in the high injury corridors. But I just want everyone to have an open mind about the fact that when Chief Scott comes up here and says, we are 500 officers short, and we know that per 10,000 residents, in San Francisco we have 22 officers, New York they have 42, Chicago they have 44, and Washington, D.C. they have 61. That it is an issue of great concern to many people in my district. And like I said, we will hear from Commander Walsh about this issue, but the idea that more cops is not the answer for me is a little seems to be a little naive. So I wanted to say that because I know that is something that's been said. I've read it in Heather Knight's article, and I really want to solve this problem. I really want to make our streets safer for pedestrians, for cyclists, for everybody. And if we close our minds to the fact that we do actually need more officers based on the objective data that were shown, I think we're going to do everyone a huge disservice. So,
Can I quickly respond to that? Very quickly. One way that would help us and help the